Good day and welcome to another week of A Week at the Plot. It's Tuesday afternoon and I'm down here to do a little bit of seed sowing. But before I do that, I think we'll just go down to the riverbank and see how the weeping willow is getting on. We haven't had significant rain for about 48 hours. So I think the river level will be quite a bit lower, and I'm hoping we'll be able to see, well, I'm hoping that there won't be any water on the riverbank this side, and we'll be able to see if any of the soil around the weeping willow has been washed away. I think because there are a few sort of seedlings in there, it should be okay. And of course, the flow of the water does sort of more damage on the surface and at the edges than down below where it's a little bit slower. So I think it should be okay. Let's go and have a look. Very pleased to see that the dwarf weeping willow is still standing, and the water, as you can see, is really at a much lower level than it was the other day, which is absolutely great. I'll just come carefully down these steps. There we are. So all this was covered in the river the other day, right up to here. It didn't broach the allotments at the top here, but it was up to about here by the end of the day. So yeah, pretty high. And you know, you can also see that the water is flowing much more slowly. If you can see little petals flowing on there, floating rather. So basically, with the river level being so high, this area, which is our drainage area, was covered up. And in fact, this higher drainage area here was also covered up the other day. So water couldn't escape from the site, or it was escaping very slowly from the site because it was basically backed up with river water. But you can see, there's my sort of footprint there. It's still pretty muddy, not surprisingly, but it is a much quieter river today. Quite a lot of people walking on the other side as well, which is I mean, the other side is a public footpath. And the allotments actually used to stretch here until the river used to go right up over there and then down, and then the curve of the river was made more shallow so that it didn't bend right over there quite so much, but it meant that allotments that are where we are now had to be lost. I think there's some, oh yeah, there is new growth on there. You might not be able to see it, but there is new growth. And we'll have to come down here and remove the plastic debris that we can see. But yeah, good to see that the soil hasn't been washed away here. And the inner tube is still holding strong. So yeah, very pleased about that. I said I was going to be doing some seed sowing, and some of the seed sowing is going to be in this bed. So this is the sowing of first early peas we did back in November, and we had pretty patchy germination, and also they didn't overwinter well, or they haven't overwintered well. Some of the plants are maybe 8-9 inches, but most are sort of struggling a bit, and quite a few just didn't germinate. So I'm going to be doing intermittent sowing, so filling in gaps basically. I think we had 4 rows here. I get up here, there was a row here, here, here and here, and all I'm going to be doing is sticking my finger in where there are gaps in those rows and sowing a seed. Some of this trimmed grass is here, so I'll just sort of take some of that off as I do that, and any weeds that are in here, I can see weeds, grass weeds over here, will come out. So yeah, I'm just going to get on and do that. So that was Feltham First peas being sown. So we'll see how they do. And I just grubbed up the sort of gaps in the rows and plonked them in and just pushed the seeds down a little bit and then covered it up. So we'll see how that goes. I used to grow the most amazing peas in Guernsey as a child, around sort of 11 to 14, something like that. And I think it's fair to say that apart from Mange 2, I've struggled with peas. I've done okay with Mange 2. And why aren't I sowing any Mange 2 this year? I don't know. I'm not sure. Do I have any seeds? Oh, I don't know. I don't know. I don't think I am. I don't think I am. What I am sowing today in seed trays, kale. These are from Vital Seeds, Dazzling Blue Kale, Brussels Sprouts Groninger, good old Groninger. And as you know, we love our Brussels sprouts, and yeah, time to get some of those seeds in. And then I'm also doing the cross here between Dazzling Blue Kale and Portuguese Cabbage. I'm not sowing any Portuguese cabbage at the moment, but I am doing this cross variety, which crossed about 2 years ago, and we saved this seed last year. And all I'm going to do is very similar to how I did the lettuce and the gazanias last week. I'm going to fill a half tray with compost, then I'm going to section it off into 3, and I'll do Brussels in the front one, then I'll do Dazzling Blue Kale, then I'll do the hybrid cross up here. So yeah, that's what I'm going to get on and do. I've already done, as part of the Grow Along series several years ago, how to sow kale, so I will link back to that here. But I'm just going to go outside, fill this with compost, and then get seed sowing. First Brussels sprouts. Very thinly scattering them, really small seed. It's very much like mustard seed if you grow with mustard, or cook with mustard seed rather. And these are all part of the same family, the Brassica family. Dazzling Blue Kale going in the middle section. I want most probably about 8 to 12 of each this year. And then finally the hybrid. These are slightly larger seeds because the Portuguese cabbage is generally a larger seed, so as it's a hybrid with the Dazzling Blue Kale, it's just a bit bigger. I think that's about 12 in there. So there's plenty of seed in there for future years. Just going to press down lightly, make sure that the seeds are in really close contact with the compost. Just lift my seed labels out a bit. And then these are just going to have a quick watering and then go into the greenhouse. I'm only putting them next to the lettuce and the gazanias out of ease. They could be in the poly. If they were going to be outside, I'd most probably put a bit of glass or perspex over them. Ooh. At the front, Brussels Sprouts Groninger, in the middle Dazzling Blue Kale, and then our hybrid of Dazzling Blue Kale and Portuguese Cabbage at the back. And you'll see that this has got white bits in it. This did have white bits in it. This is perlite, and this here, this was white as well, but it discolours quite quickly. So in a week's time, we'll notice that this white of perlite is this colour, and we can see we've got 1, 2, 3 gazania that have germinated there, and at the back there's one, what's that? This is our own saved seed of lettuce. I very often find that saved seed germinates quicker than commercial seed, and then outrageous lettuce in the middle, but there's no germination there yet. That's fine. That's I think this is about a week. Yeah, about a week, I think. And here, I think I'm going to bite the bullet on these. This is parsley here and coriander, and I think I'm going to pot a couple on, but the rest I'm going to put into the compost I'm going to put into our carrot and parsnip bed, which is going to be that one there. And in terms of our Mizuna, some of our Mizuna overwintering is doing pretty well, but at the back here, the smaller ones, they're not really liking the current weather, but the larger plants I think are fine. And actually I've just noticed that our garlic there outside is beginning to pick up as well. Oh, I'm not sure if you can see here, look. You see that ladybird? Let's see if we can see it from the outside. Not sure if you can see the ladybird. No. Oh, but yeah, quite a big ladybird. Nice to see ladybirds. I think that's it for me today. I think I've done my bit. I think we might have a little tour later this week. I'm noticing that these overwintering hybrids are also going pretty much to seed, which is a shame. Hey ho, hey ho. I've just harvested some Portuguese cabbage because we're going to be having those leaves steamed, or maybe stir-fried steamed this evening with, I think, a baked potato and maybe, oh, let me see if I can get that. No, I don't think you can see. I don't think you can. There was a V of birds there. Oh, I don't know what they were. Oh, but you can't see them, and I can't see them anymore. I try and bring you different things, and sometimes it just doesn't work. But they were flying in V formation. They were white birds flying largely in V formation, about 20 birds. I think they may have been geese, but I didn't have my glasses on to see, and I don't think we'll be able to see in that footage that I tried to take. They went behind the tree and then carried on. Oh dear. Anyway, silly. Yeah, so I think we're going to have a squash and chickpea curry this evening with baked potatoes and those Portuguese cabbage leaves. So that will be rather lovely. I've come back in the shed because the sun has come out. It's absolutely glorious, as you've most probably just seen as I switched around then. It really is rather lovely, but there's quite a grey sky over there. And it looks as though it's coming this way, so I think it might rain. But anyway, let's have a quick look at the sun, because it is rather gorgeous just looking out this door. Look at that. Doesn't that look so quiet and so peaceful? I can hear a train in the distance. I can hear a few birds. Yeah, lovely, lovely. And there's my trowel on the left that I used for the sowing of the peas, the Felton First peas. Right, I'm going to go. I must admit, I feel like grabbing a drink from the pub, but I'm not going to do that. That would be a bit too naughty. See you very soon. Bye. Good day. I came around the path today to the plot, and our neighbours who are off are dismantling their chicken run as if to prove a point that they're off. Oh, such a shame. Hey ho, it will be an exciting adventure for them. And today I'm just going to crack on with this bed. So I'm going to put the camera down and just crack on. We'll see how far I get. Well, there we are, and I have sort of reached the end of my energy. I can't spend any more energy today on this bed. I was feeling a bit tired when I came down, and I'm just feeling shattered now. But I have got 2.5 buckets, tubs like this of weeds out. Some have got sort of rather big weeds, which is bindweed root, which was right across here. There is bindweed all over here, and in fact on the path as well. Now the path is a bit clear, I can pull up some of that bit by bit and just reduce it bit by bit. You can mostly just see the bottom of the winter honeysuckle on the right there. There's still a lot of ground between of course there's a lot of ground, that's what it's growing in. There's a lot of grass weed around that. There's mostly about 2.5 cubic feet that I need to weed, but that will be by hand because the root level of the winter honeysuckle is quite shallow at that point there. So I think now I've expended my sort of body energy, I'm going to just get my kneeling pad out and do a bit of hand weeding over there. But let's have a closer look. Well, we're pretty close here, but let's have a look from the other side. This is 2 full buckets of weeds, and you can see the thickness of some of these bits of bindweed, and over there as well. And of course you can see there is a ladybird, so I will be leaving all this out for a few days to make sure that anything that might be in there can escape before I put it onto a perennial compost bin. I obviously won't be putting this onto a general compost bin because the compost bin would just be completely inundated with bindweed because it will just start growing again. But if we come over here, this is the area I was talking about that I'm going to hand weed, and I think I'll sort of carry on doing that now. This here is winter honeysuckle root. This here is couch grass, so I need to carefully go through that. We've got some cinquefoil in here as well. Most of we see over there a bit of cinquefoil, and another ladybird over there. So yeah, I need to hand weed that area. This, even though I've given it a good forking over, it will need another one. I've got a huge amount of bindweed root out, as you saw, but another good forking isn't going to do this bed any harm. You know, the worms won't like it. Some of them may die, but I need to do what I need to do in order to be able to use this bed. One of our next door plot neighbours and another plot neighbour or plot tenant here came over whilst I was doing this, and we had a chat, and they were saying how fabulous the soil is, and it really is. It's fantastically crumbly, this soil. We've managed the soil, apart from weeds, in our beds really well, which I'm pleased with. So this is going to be a potato bed, but you know what, I'm just going to carry on for another 10 minutes and hand weed that area there. And I'll see you soon another day. Bye. What are you doing, Mr. Catty? Come here. What you doing? What you doing? You being a little sausage? Are you being a little sausage? You come for a scratch. You come for a scratchy. Good day and welcome to Thursday afternoon at the plot. I've come down because I wanted to water several of the seedlings that we've got going, because we're away for a couple of days now and I want to make sure that everything is well watered before we go. So the broad beans have been done, the Hottentot figs. I've also done the Mizuna that are in the polytunnel in the bed there. And then I was delighted, oh, you've seen me do the Mizuna in the greenhouse as well, but I was delighted when I went to water the lettuce seedlings and the gazania seedlings that we've got, that the outrageous lettuce has also germinated now. There's 2 or 3 there. The gazanias, there's about 5 or 6 now. The save seed lettuce, that is our own save seed, there's about 6 or 7. So I'm pleased with the way that the germination is going in there. Nothing, of course, with the brassicas yet, but we only sowed those a few days ago. But yeah, I'm pleased with that. So that's really grand. And with the Mizuna in the greenhouse, I think I might move them next week to the polytunnel, because I don't want them to get too hot in the greenhouse. They don't like lots of heat. So I think an ambient temperature in the polytunnel would be better for them. I mean, maybe in a couple of weeks they could actually be outside, you know, if we need further space in the poly, they could come outside. Anyway, we'll see. But yeah, I'm delighted that the germination that we've got going on is doing pretty well at the moment, and I hope that by the time it gets into next week, the brassicas will have germinated as well. And as I was looking around the plot today, and I was thinking last night, I couldn't get to sleep last night, I'm really quite chuffed with what I've achieved over the past few months. Yes, I've still got to do the flower border bed in front of me, but I feel as though I'm beginning to get back on top, not just back on top and ahead on the plot. You know, we've taken down a lot of those grasses, we've sorted out a lot of areas that have become overgrown through me not tending them as well as normal last year. The beds that we've reclaimed for growing this year, I'm really pleased about that. Obviously, we've got potatoes to go into that potato bed that I did the other day. Don't know what we're going to be planting as a variety, but I think I will just go to either a DIY store or our local garden centre and see what they have next week. But yeah, I'm quite pleased with what I've achieved. I'm quite chuffed with what I've achieved. I feel as though I'm just sort of getting back on top. I really do, which is fabulous, I have noticed that with the winter honeysuckle there is a bit which is dead, an old bit which is dead at the top, so I'm going to be cutting that down, I think, before I go today. But yeah, I'm just going to potter for a little bit. I need to get back to my desk because I've got a call I've got to do, but I'm hoping to get down a little bit later and just do a bit more pottering. But we shall see. Anyway, I'm going to leave it there for this week's A Week at the Plot. However things are doing in your gardens, your growing space or your allotment, I hope they are pleasing you, and I hope you are finding some joy in what you are doing. And if you've still you're still getting to the place of getting going, or maybe if you're in the southern hemisphere and are sort of tidying up and putting things sort of, well, harvesting and possibly thinking about putting things to bed for the winter, I hope it's all going well for you. And I will see you again very soon on Planet Vegetaria, of course, for further segments next week of A Week at the Plot, or on YouTube for another full upload. If you've got any comments, any questions, anything like that, please do put them down below. I really do try and answer every single comment. If somebody puts 2 or 3 comments, I'll most probably try and answer all of those comments in one in one reply, but I do try to get back to you. Anyway, I'm going to leave it there. I'm going to cut that, yeah, I'm going to sort out that winter honeysuckle. See you very soon. Bye. Oh, and happy growing. Bye.